Do you remember when QR codes seemed like the future? A new generation of barcodes that can make your phone connect to a website or restaurant Wi-Fi, allow your phone to be a train or bus ticket, and have even replaced your menu in many restaurants. You know, those black and white things with lots of squares on them. But some organizations are now removing QR codes. Why? It turns out the fraudulent use of QR codes makes scams and hacks very easy. This is the True Crime podcast that helps keep you safe from scams, hacks, and frauds. Sharing stories is the best way to help protect people from scams, hacks, and frauds. You can help us by subscribing and sharing this story. Thanks. Today's true crime scam story takes us to a town in Yorkshire called Thornaby. Unless you're really into military aviation history, Thornaby will probably fly right under your radar. Despite the surrounding picturesque countryside, the town clings to echoes of a more industrial past, giving a sense of faded vitality. Amidst this backdrop, Sue and her daughter-in-law parked at Thornaby railway station, embarking on what was meant to be a simple day out. Sue put on the parking brake, turned off the ignition, got out of the car, and began to rummage through her purse to find money to pay the parking charges. However, despite searching for several minutes, she was unable to locate a machine to pay for her ticket. She walked over to a parking information sign and spotted that she needed to download an app to her phone in order to pay. Her eye was then drawn to a QR code on the sign. Sue had never used a QR code before, but with a little encouragement from her daughter-in-law, and feeling like she'd had no other choice, and certainly not wanting a parking ticket, she pointed her phone at the sign, opened a camera app, and tapped on the QR code. She was then greeted with a new screen asking her to enter her payment details. She took out her debit card and entered it as instructed. Seconds turned into minutes, but eventually she was presented with a message that said, "Try again." Knowing these things do happen, particularly when using the internet on her phone, she did so, thinking nothing of it. Another long delay later, and the page told her to try another card. She swapped her debit card for a credit card and tried again. But still the payment did not complete. Seeing the train approach the station and not wanting to miss the train, she took a picture of the page and the information board and rushed to the platform, hoping if she did get a parking ticket, she could sort it later, and didn't think much of it for the rest of the day. A few days later, she received an unexpected phone call. The number displayed showed it was coming from her bank. The person calling informed her they thought there were some fraudulent charges on her debit card, a few of which were £100 each. The caller said not to worry, the transactions would be sorted and a new card would be sent. This call was genuine. However, she received another call a few days later about her credit card. The caller again advised that they believed that there were some fraudulent transactions on her account and asked her to go through some standard data security checks. Her name, date of birth, standard things you might be asked if you call a company. The second caller then went through some transactions made on her account and seemed to be very well informed about her spending, confirming some transactions down to the penny that Sue had actually made. She was then asked if she had any other cards with the same bank and was asked what her credit limit was. Sue, seeing red flags at this point, hung up. Within the next 10 minutes, that caller had managed to successfully apply for a loan with Sue's bank in Sue's name for £7,500. Sue immediately called her bank, and by the time she was connected with the credit card team, another £4,000 had been taken from her card by the scammer. While talking to the bank, the scammer was still continuing to make further attempts, and she could have lost even more to the scam. And to rub salt into the wound, the fraudster had used Sue's online banking to change the address on the account so that new cards would be sent to other members of the gang, meaning this scam could have continued on for a very long time. All charges and the loans taken out by the scammer were either cancelled or returned to Sue. However, it would take months for her credit card to be unfrozen, and she needed her family's help to get through the period. The scam had managed to net £4,700. In response, the train company has now removed QR codes from all of its stations. Elsewhere in Yorkshire, A man unknowingly subscribed to a £39 monthly subscription when he thought he was paying for parking charges using a QR code, leading the council to consider removing QR codes from all its car parks. Even legitimate parking apps, like Ringo, are advising people not to use QR codes. Organisations like Action Fraud in the UK and the FTC in the US are reporting an explosion in QR code scams, with some reports even suggest they're starting to challenge bad links in emails, with over 25% of all scam links now being done by QR codes. This isn't just a parking thing. There are reports of some individuals receiving unexpected deliveries accompanied by a label instructing them to scan a QR code if any issues arise. They've also been spotted in fake delivery emails and messages. The most worrying thing about this scam for us, however, is that they're very easy to set up. You don't even have to pay for your own QR code. A simple search will reveal dozens of companies offering to generate a QR code for free. Some don't even require your details or to set up an account. All you need to do is have that code point to the website of your choice. Many online website hosting companies advertise that AI can set up a site for you in minutes, meaning the scam is very easy to set up. All you then need is a printer and a sheet of blank mailing labels, which are available at any stationery store or your favorite online marketplace. Stick it over a legitimate QR code, perhaps with another label that says you can scan the code to pay online, and your trap is set. What you then do with it, take payments, steal credit card numbers, or even set up people to download a virus, or just get a sucker list for more sophisticated scams later, whatever scam or hack you want to pull is really up to you, for pretty much no cost or effort. Obviously, we don't recommend setting up a scam, but it illustrates just how easily it can be done. It only takes minutes. Obviously, the safest thing you can do is not to scan QR codes at all, especially those in public. If your phone generates QR codes for the bus or the train ticket, those are fine to use. However, if you see a QR code in an open public area, such as a car park, do not use it. Action Fraud claims that QR codes in places like restaurants and bars are safe to use, such as when you're using your phone as a menu. However, before scanning, give it a look. If it looks like something's been pasted over it, don't use it. Most places will be happy to offer you a paper menu and take your order the old-fashioned way if you choose. If you're creating QR codes for others to use, don't use black and white ones. Instead, add your branding and create them in your brand's colors with your logo on it. You might have seen Snapchat put their little ghost in theirs. This isn't foolproof. A scammer still could match your brand colors, but it would mean then they have to create a special sticker just for your company with your logo and colors on it for it not to stick out. And scammers are very much opportunists. If there's an easier mark than you, the scammer will probably go for them. I've been C, and this has been Scams, Hacks and Frauds. Instead of just remembering to like and share this story, pass the episode to one person who you wouldn't want to see scammed today. Sharing these stories is our best protection against scammers, keeping us all safe. This podcast is available to reuse for free under the Creative Commons with Attribution Share Alike license. The music is not included in this license. For more information on the Creative Commons license, please visit creativecommons.org.